Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and add our materials to our model. So you want to look at our scene in the viewport here. We think we're going to go for a dark aluminium texture for these panels, and then on the top panels maybe a lighter metal texture. And then we want a light concrete texture for the ground surface here, as well as the stairs. And then another texture for the interior along the roof here. So that's approximately 4 or 5 materials. So you look at the scene first, decide what materials we want to use, and we go ahead into the asset editor and find them in the library. So let's look for a ground texture first. So we use tiles for the ground. Just adjust the color slightly before we load it in. And then for the panels, I think we're going to go for a darker texture. So we'll go to our metals. We'll go for a dark grey aluminium. I will set it a bit darker as well. So we got the tiles for the ground, and then we want to go for a concrete texture for this elevated part, as well as the stairs. Load in concrete flooring, add that to the scene, and then this ground here will have a metal texture, a wood texture. So we'll load in a nice, I think we'll try this laminate here. We can always adjust it later. So we can either apply the materials to the layers or just select the objects in the scene and apply it directly. We'll also load in the darker metal texture. Sorry, a slightly lighter to contrast the walls here. So we'll go ahead and select the walls and load in our dark metal texture. So you right click, apply to selection, and we'll add our material mapping. This can be done in the interactive view, however it can slow down your computer sometimes. But there's our dark material set. Now we'll go ahead and add this to the top. And then for the other walls, we can add in our wall paint texture. Let's go wall paint fine grain. Apply that to selection. And we'll do this for the interior walls as well. And then for the floor textures, sometimes we need to change the view and add this into the parts we want. And we'll go ahead and add in our wood texture. And just apply our surface mapping. We'll also add this to the roof. So there we go. Now we'll go ahead and load in our ground tile texture. This we can adjust later. But for now, let's just get a approximate size. Then we can adjust the parameters to compensate for the overexposure from the sun caused on the ground. We're 500 for now. And finally, we'll add in our concrete texture, which is for the stairs, as well as this platform up here. You can also group it so you can apply the texture much easier. We'll add the mapping. you can see, you can kind of see the repeating texture, so we just want to adjust this. You know, adjust some of the rotation and the scale to kind of get a pattern where you're not seeing as much repetition of the texture. So those are our materials set. We'll just do a quick interactive render to see what it looks like. So as you can see, it's made our scene a lot darker. So what we want to do is adjust our concrete to be much brighter. So we're going to go into the color manipulation itself and just make it a much brighter color. So now the concrete is much brighter as well as the tiles. I think a lighter color for the walls might be a better option for this. So we can go ahead and choose something for the walls. And then for the walls, and if we want something that's bright but not something that will also contrast the concrete and tiles. So this can be quite a process trying to look for the right material to use. So it just takes a lot of experimenting to find the right material for this. So I think a darker material makes a lot more contrast, which is quite good. So we'll stick with this iron texture and we'll turn the reflection down slightly. You can see if you increase the reflection, the shadow on the object is less prevalent. So we want to keep that contrast, so we'll turn the reflection down quite a lot. So that way you can still see the shadow contrasting on the object, as well as the glass layer. Having a darker material behind it makes it a lot more contrasting, so you can see that glass coming through. With adding our materials, it has made the interior slightly darker, so we can go ahead and just slightly adjust our spotlights. There you go, so now the interior looks a little bit more natural, and we have all our scenes set up. So you can adjust the materials to your own taste if you prefer to have the walls lighter or darker. That's how we set up the scene.